Okay, being the new human class today is about shadow work, and we're coming at it from a higher dimensional standpoint. What does that mean? Does it change the work? Well, in a sense, it does, because perception is reality. And the traditional view, and this doesn't mean everyone has always held it, but for the majority, the traditional view of shadow work has been that it's really hard and it's really painful and it's difficult. So, you know me, I love to flip perceptions, and I love to offer us the opportunity to see that it can be experienced a bit differently. And so with the way that I look at it, shadow work is the same core understanding. Some people say, well, what is shadow work? It is the understanding that there are spaces within our own beings that we may not see, we may not recognize, maybe because subconsciously we don't want to. They could be spaces that we've navigated that have been difficult, traumatic, for whatever reason, we have decided not to look at them, but they have an energetic signature, just like every part of our being does. And so as we experience our lives, certain spaces can repeat and come back to us, certain experiences, behavior traits, and we can think, well, I don't understand. I've done all this inner work and I've, experienced this growth, and yet here I am again. Where is this coming from? Sometimes, and more than not, it can be in the shadows. And I was thinking of, how do we even see a shadow with our own physical body? Like, it's not like every single minute we can see our shadow. It has to be that the lighting is in just such a way that it casts the shadow, correct? And we can notice this in nature. You go on a walk and you can, a certain time of day, you can see the shadows of the trees, right? And it even changes the shape. Like maybe you look super tall, or, it just is, it's really beautiful the way the light plays a role in how you see the shadow. So I love that. And for me, I like to allow my understanding to anchor into that space. So light within you shining more illuminates the spaces in the shadows of yourself that are ready to receive your love. And that's all they're asking of us. These spaces are spaces that have had some type of pain or difficulty, and now they are, or more so, now our consciousness is in a space where it's ready to go back with a different perception, possibly, yes, and a deeper understanding and a lot more compassion. Many times we don't realize that we leave parts of ourselves in these spaces because we didn't like the space. And so we actually kind of really hurt ourselves in a sense, because we almost stick ourselves in the worst timeout ever. That piece of ourself gets left in that space, and we run away from it as fast as we can, and we live and do other spaces of our lives, and yet that part of ourself is still stuck in those emotions of that space that is ready now to receive our healing, our compassion, our love. Now, so what I wanted to do with this class, and I put it in the notes, so hopefully everyone aligns with this, but it's going to be less about a class, the whole thing. I'm just going to talk a few more minutes, and then I'm going to ask you if you have anything I might be able to help with, a question or anything. And then I want to go into an energy space where I'm going to guide you, just like I do my clients in a one-on-one. And in all of my work, every person is in a sacred space of their own. So remember that it's your space, and I'll be guiding you to be able to find a space if you choose to. And if you don't want to do that, you can just be blessing your being on all levels. But you can be led to a space that's ready for your love. And I will guide you through the process of what I call a walk back. So this is when we walk back to a space in our now line that is ready to receive some love and compassion and some release and some healing. So with this shadow work that I am teaching about and talking about, as your light expands, you see these spaces in yourself. I see these spaces in myself. And here's the PowerPoint that I've come across, and many of you may have already heard this as well, but my daughter, I have two, my oldest, she said I could tell the story. So she's 22, and she has gotten a lot of traits from both myself and her father, who I'm happily married to for over 30 years. And so my husband is one of these guys that if he has his own business and he does like construction type work. So he's one of these kind of guys that if he cuts himself, he doesn't go to the doctor unless like a body part's coming off. He takes duct tape or something and like wraps it up with like a paper towel, and he just keeps on going. And so he's very like hardcore that way. And if he doesn't go to seek help at all unless it's like a dire necessity. And he has kind of let me rephrase, please. He had kind of a mindset of no pain, no gain. It can get tough, and that's okay. You just barrel through. And so my daughter and I, we've been offering the understanding that, we could flip that a little bit, and we could be that, things are flowing really good. And like, it can loosen up some of that, space. And, at first it was kind of like, no, but then we just kept being us, and we didn't try to get anybody to be us. We just were us, right? And so that energy vibrates out. And my daughter, she decided to do some inner work for spaces of her from when she was 8, where she was bullied and she had some issues with the body, and just not good space for her emotionally. So she did this work, and we kept finding, through her and I working together on it, we kept finding connections to my husband. Like somehow, some way we would find these connections. And I said, I think this is also connecting into him and his family line. Like, I think some of the stuff you're healing in your now is generational, it's ancestral, it's family line. And so she just kept doing the work, and she really, like, she actually was, she had been diagnosed with celiac disease, and she cured her body of it. I mean, she can eat anything she wants now. And so, but this was connected to the shadow spaces she went in and healed. So that's how much this affects you on all levels. It's your energy, which is your emotions, which is your physical body, which is, how we are able to experience our lives with our health. So anyways, this is big because she kept doing her inner work. And now this was her going through a lot of life changes as well. She got married, and when all this was going on, we planned she moved out while this was going on. A lot of big stuff was happening for her. But just about 2 or 3 months ago, my husband made an appointment at the chiropractor. That's unheard of. He made an appointment at the chiropractor. Now, we all were quiet. Nobody wanted to make a big deal out of this because we wanted it to go through. So we all quietly, looked in the background like, oh, yay, take care of yourself. Love yourself, baby. But nobody was saying it out loud, yet. And so he went, and the first visit, I could tell it felt a little weird to him, like to have that much self-love going on, And, but let me say, he had booked 6 because he was having an issue with his arm. Now, remember the story of the shoemaker? I don't know if somebody will get this joke, how the shoemaker makes shoes for all the people to come and get shoes, but the shoemaker's kids have no shoes. So keep in mind, I do this work for everybody to heal their bodies, and my husband lays in bed with a bum arm, and I'm like, I can help you. And he's like, I'm good. So anyways, by the 3rd visit of his 6 visits he had purchased, by his 3rd visit, he was like, really just so happy with himself for caring for himself. It was incredible. And just to witness a man living 50 years of his life, doing for everyone. He's that kind of man, doing for everyone. He's the one that stops when someone's on the side of the road and needs help. He's the one that stops when the old lady's pushing the cart to their car and they have a bag of dog food or something. He's just that guy. And to see him take time to do him. And I knew it was connected to this shadow work that my daughter had done to heal parts of her being. And it was rippling out energetically, generationally to him. So it was fantastic. It was powerful. And it's still unfolding. He got a new pillow too, which that's huge. He'd usually just use the thing till it was like non-usable, but now he's just like, I don't think I like this and I want a new one. I'm like, oh my God. So this is like really powerful work. And yes, it combines with the fact that our planet is in a different energy vibration. We talk about this a lot. Humanity's in a different energy vibration, much of it. And so this is also assisting when you and I are doing this work, this deep inner work, okay? Going into the spaces of our beings that need the love the most, that are in the shadows, and bringing them into the light. It is amplified by all that's going on around us, and it is rippling out. And this is part of that whole shift of the collective, shift of humanity. So the biggest things you want to remember with shadow work is non-judgment. Non-judgment is what you need the most. We can be really afraid of our shadow spaces for whatever reason, for whatever's connected to them. But if we can find ways to drop the fear and judgment before we go in and come from your highest version, your wholeness, don't leave it on just this now version of you. We talked about that as well before. When you go in, you are all of you going in. Because if you go in as just this now version, and then you get into the space that was difficult for you, you were the now version then, right? So it's very raw. But if you come in from your wholeness and you've connected into God and you're coming in, you're bringing in all of that with you, all of that support and light and love. So that's very, very important. Compassion, come in as your wholeness. And it's a huge space of self-growth, because this is really important information, not only if you choose to use it for yourself, but if you are a healer and you choose to use it for clients, or you have a family member who you see that could utilize some of this understanding. It's just really powerful information, because this is the epitome of self-growth. This is the spaces of the self that need the most love and get the least amount of visibility, right? That's what is going on with a shadow. It's mostly in the dark, and only in certain moments of light does the shadow come to be seen. So I'm going to open this up if anybody has any questions before we go into the energy side of it. I know that was kind of brief, but I feel like it's very kind of boom, 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 cut and dry as to how I look at it. Does anybody have any questions though? You can chat it or unmute yourself if you do, or wave profusely at me. No, I'm just joking. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's a question. Okay.
Andrea, could I say something?
Yes, yes, yes.
I have a friend who has helped me immensely spiritually, and he often says that coming at this type of work with a place of curiosity allows you to then kind of step into that Christ consciousness of I am, to choose which state of being you're approaching anything with, and then things don't have to be quote bad or scary. Like once you're just getting really curious, it allows for that openness of space, and then you can, do what you said and step into that full I am Christ consciousness and your wholeness, and knowing that you are already healed, you are that version of yourself, right? Already. And so when you approach it that way, it just becomes so much easier.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that is beautiful. Kate, did you have something to add too?
Well, I'm not even sure what question to ask, but it's what pops into my mind is dark night of the soul. So you can approach it as not having to be a dark night of the soul.
Yes,
correct?
Exactly. Yes, that's what
Thank God.
Yes, exactly. And thank you for bringing that. See, everything matters. Both of those comments were so powerful. This is the new human. This is being the new human class, right? This is the new human. This is the new earth. This is the new vibration. would it make sense to function in that space of density if you are in the new space, right? So you're shedding off even the programming of how you would function through the dark night of the soul. Or it doesn't even have to have that title anymore. It can be the enlightened night of the soul, where the light comes in, right? And brings in the compassion and the love and the understanding. I find that in these spaces, what is the most valuable to be given to the younger version, you know, the space itself, is gratitude. It seems odd in some ways, but you, me, the space of us that walks through that experience, navigates it, gets left there, whatever, right? That is most likely one or some of the densest, darkest, most difficult spaces of our life, right? So gratitude, honest, compassionate gratitude to our being, that piece of us that we left there. And for some people, I talked about this in a video I did on YouTube. They even can't stand their nickname from when they're a kid. And because it's connected to the space of them that lived in that difficulty in many, many ways. Sometimes this type of work can be a day ago. It doesn't have to be 40 years ago. So keep that in mind. But sometimes they won't even like the nickname. They'll want to get rid of it. That's how bad they don't like that space, right? That's how much they don't like that space. And yet that part of them, whatever the nickname is, you know, Bobby or whatever the nickname is, got them through, got you through, got me through that space. And to honor that part of the being, to go in and, I mean, literally, I have had, especially even with my daughter, and again, she said I could tell the story. This is Sydney. Many of you know her already. Now she's done many sessions, many different parts of her life, but in one, she saw like, she said it looked like her, but it was really, really skinny and like bony and in the dark and crumpled up like a fetus almost. And it was like shaking and it just looked not good. And but her work is really, she's very visual with her work. Not everybody experiences this way, but she saw that and she said the first thing she felt was a little bit of fear, right? Because it doesn't look like roses, right? And then she said, I sat with it, and in my being, I said to myself, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving that part of me there. It looks like that because it got left here this long. Oh, I could just cry thinking about just that, right? So she went over to this part of herself and she said it looked at her like, you know, like, what are you doing? You know, like, why, you know, like, what's going on? And she just reached out and she said, I'm not leaving you here anymore. And she just held herself. She held herself. And as she held that version of herself, she said that it just began to shift and form as to be like, not in the dark, crumpled up, skinny, bony, you know. And she just felt this huge shift within her being. And she just said like the energy just totally changed. And she just kept saying, I love you. Thank you. And it was an incredibly powerful moment for her. Now, and it was after that session that my husband started going and taking care of himself. So it was a really big breakthrough. And I told them, you know, I even talked to my husband afterwards and I said, you know, people need to know about this. Like, this is huge. Like, this is what we're doing now. And I know we may have been doing it longer and just not able to consciously pick up on it all the time. But definitely, it's so incredibly powerful to be able to go within ourselves, love the spaces, back to light, right? Not leave parts of our beings alone in the dark, allow them to, I feel like even if there are others connected to the space, right? Because for her, there were bullies at school. There were kids that were really mean to her. There were moments where she physically hurt her body because she hated being where she was at. So she would like fall down at school to try to hurt her body. I mean, it's a very sad space for me to go to as her mother. I didn't know it at the time. So then I had to do my own work with my own self that felt bad about that space I didn't recognize, but it's okay. We're all moving forward in our own pace. But so there was a lot connected with it, and every situation's different, but there's always other people or things connected to the experience besides even the love and healing you bring to yourself. And now if someone's having a space that is traumatic because they were abused, or, you know, raped, or any of these horrific traumatic things that can be in our past spaces, I am never asking anyone to do anything they're not ready to do. I am only facilitating a viewpoint and an understanding, a perception and a teaching that would allow you the space to possibly, you know, if it felt right for you, take the steps to heal that. But when I say heal and forgiveness, I'm never saying condone. I can't bring myself to ever say that what you're doing is saying it's okay, because it's never okay. I mean, universal law says that, the Bible says that, the many other teachings and cultural books and religions and so forth say that. It's never okay to harm another. And I never say that by clearing these spaces and offering forgiveness, we're saying that. What I'm saying is we're forgiving the space and the connectiveness to any harm we've done to our own being, and we're allowing all energies connected with it the opportunity to heal on their own. We're not responsible for their healing. We're responsible for our own. So I just want to make sure that I clarified that as well. Okay. Anybody else, anything before we go in to this space? Hello, Cynthia. Yes, Cynthia, you have a question? Wait, you do?
You hear me?
Yeah. Oh, now I can. Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
Okay. No, yes. It's really nice for me to hear all of that, because 2 days ago I went through like this crying, a very, very like intense. And I wondered, why do I always have to go through this? Like, why do I have to cry and go through all this sadness, the pain, as if someone just died? Because I'm processing my feelings, or I'm healing something, or I'm working on myself. And my boyfriend even asked me, like, maybe you created a pattern for yourself. Why do you have to go through all this pain and suffering all the time? And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so I've been questioning myself how to shift.
Okay. Okay. So I think you were done talking. Okay. Yes?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't want to cut you off because it cut out for me just a teeny bit, but I got you. Okay. So now you're here in this space. How cool and weird is that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in this space where we're discussing that the old program even exists of the dark night of the soul, like Kate was so wise to bring in, and that the programs are attached to that, right? That it has to be hard, that it has to be painful, that it has to be ugly, that it has to be dark. If that is the perception that we want to continue to hold and align with, it will have its anchor, it will have its root, it will be a reality. You have the choice, and everyone is the individual choice. Because I choose it doesn't mean you have it, but I can help the collective align to a new line if I'm one of the ones anchoring that reality. And so my belief is that we process things quicker now. And I have proof of that as well. And some of you have even experienced that directly with me. We've had really big things happen, and within hours, which would have been weeks or months before that it would have taken us to process through them, it's only hours and we're on the other side of them, right? So we know that we're processing the energy, we're processing the experiences differently. And therefore we can anchor in and align with an enlightened night of the soul. We'll go with that. I think that is sticking rather well here. So, and with Cynthia bringing that up, now Cynthia will play out in her experience when and if, and she may not have it again after we get done with this session today. I have my understanding is it's going to offer a lot of clearing of program spaces energetically and offer a lot of alignment to this higher understanding, this higher process of the being. Okay. So, but if an old program comes in, a behavioral trait, a cycle, right? Then it is, again, we go back to awareness, catch it with your awareness. Oh, you're right. I am doing this again. Okay. Observe it. Okay. Yes, I see how this played out. And then consciously realign yourself. Okay. Consciously catch it and love yourself through it, because you don't, and I only say this as a joke because I don't really think it happens this way, but you don't want to create another situation to have to go back and heal in the enlightened night of the soul. No, I'm just joking. I know that just in catching it with the awareness and then being able to observe it and then realign it, I really feel like it will, even if it does happen once or twice, it's muscle memory to much extent. And then it will begin to be where it doesn't come up. Or if it does, it's very slight. And you're like, oh yeah, that used to be the timeline I aligned with, you know, but I'm no longer aligning with that timeline. So does that make sense, Cynthia?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. So let's go into the space together, and I will guide, and every space is sacred and every space is connected into, with my work, it's into God, it's with Christ, it's with your highest light. And so then we will just allow your greatest and highest good to unfold in this now. And that should be good. All right. So on your end, if you would like to, you can lay down or sit, but close your physical eyes. This will allow you to connect in with your inner knowing even more. So just closing the physical eyes and breathing into the heart center, nice and slow. And just let the body relax. Beautiful, beautiful. Ooh. You're so surrounded by love, so surrounded by love. Just allow. Just allow. Your teams are all coming in. Just allow. Breathe into your heart nice and slow. And just allow the connection. Beautiful, beautiful. We're blessing root centers first so that we anchor the work we do. Blessing the root at the bottom of this torso. Just allow. Beautiful, beautiful. A lot of energy moving in third eyes as well. Feeling a lot of energy moving in the third eye. Throat centers, yes. Okay, now blessing your root lines, your connection to the planet, to your human being. Beautiful. Just allow. Beautiful. Beautiful. And now you are trusting yourself. You are trusting your connection with your wholeness. You're trusting your connection with God, the space in which you come from. Just breathing into your heart nice and slow and intending to be guided to a space in your experience in this now line that most needs your love. So what space is calling you? Just allow. Memories can be coming in. You may see them flipping by like cards, pictures. like on a movie screen. There's all different ways this plays out, just wherever you're being led by your inner knowing and your connection to God and your team of light. Just allow. You're going to that memory, you're seeing that space and experience, and you're remembering that you're coming in as the light. You're coming in as the light, connected to God, your team. Breathe. Beautiful, beautiful. And just allow yourself to see the space. It may be moving, it may be unfolding, a live memory right in front of you. You can pause it if you feel to. Your goal is connection with you. So you can pause the experience and you can go over to the version of you that is there in that experience. And you can take a moment. What did you need to hear in that space? What did you most need to hear? Is it that you're okay, you're safe? Is it that this is not right? Is it that I'm here, you're not alone? What do you need to tell yourself? What do you need to tell yourself? Let yourself hear what you need to hear. Beautiful. Just allow this space. Healing is flowing in these spaces. This is the healing light of God coming from the highest spaces of love. Just allow it to move around you and your younger version, around all involved in the experience, the space. And whether it's yesterday, 20, 30, 40 years ago, just allow. Do you need to hold your younger self? Do you need to hold yourself in your arms and say, I love you. I'm right here. You're not alone. Do what you need to do. Bring in the light. Bring in the light. Beautiful. And remember, one of the most important things is to say thank you. Thank you for walking me through that space. Thank you for getting us through it. Allow them, allow you to receive your love. You may feel others present that were involved in the experience. If that's the case, navigate the space from your inner knowing, whether you are offering love, forgiveness, release, whatever needs to be offered. Maybe you need to say it wasn't right. I refuse to be treated that way. I stand in my sovereignty. I know I'm worthy. Whatever you need, this is your space. There's a lot of energy coming off of the heart centers. Whew. Just allow. Allow yourself to feel your love. You are the angel of light in this space. You are the higher self in this space. You deserve your love. You deserve God's love. You deserve healing, understanding, and release. Breathing into your heart, nice and slow. You're anchoring in this reconnection to this part of you. You are welcoming you home. There is no more distance. There is no more separation. There is no more darkness. You are welcoming you home. Embrace yourself. Allow. Breathe into that heart, nice and slow. And release anything that no longer serves. Realigning with you, reconnecting with you. This is restoration. This is love. You went back and you found you. We allow this energy of love to flow, this energy of healing and release. Beautiful, beautiful. Just allow. You are never separate from this space of you. You can say, I'm never leaving you again. We are one. I am always here. You can tell me anything. I hear you. I see you. I love you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Your roots are going deeper into the earth. Your groundedness is going deeper, wider. Your light is expanding. Heart centers are expanding. Throat centers are expanding. Authenticity flooding in. I know who I am. I am whole. I am loved. And I am love. Anchoring this light and this love into this now. Anchoring it deep. Breathing into your heart, nice and slow. On your exhale, anchoring in more of you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Incredibly powerful. You are surrounded by light. You are whole. This space has received your love. You have received your love. Sending gratitude to your team, gratitude to God, to you, to all involved. Allow that gratitude to flow. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational spaces. Allow that gratitude to flow. Bless your life with that gratitude that this moment has occurred, that this space has unfolded. Beautiful, beautiful. Ashaweya, tase kiawa, tono kukowa yeya. An ancient blessing of the soul. Breathe into the heart one more time, nice and slow. Anchoring in you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And just allow yourself to slowly come back into this space, sending your love and gratitude out to all involved. Move the fingers or the toes, and consciously be aware of the physical eyes. When they open, they receive and take in, acknowledge your new now. Your vibration, your energy signature has been changed. You changed it. You loved it with light. Just allow yourself to acknowledge that as you open your eyes. Beautiful. Take your time. And this is sealed in the highest degree of light and in absolute love. And as you move forward, and as this unfolds, because your energy signature is different, so ripples out. And again, we know it affects others around us as well, those connected with the space as well. As you move forward, keep in mind consciously, keep in the heart consciously, the understanding to be aware if it's an old muscle memory and you can offer it some love, or maybe you don't even see them as much because the shift was just that great that you aren't even having that alignment show up at all. There's no judgment or attachment to how this unfolds, because it is in the end still your journey. It is your space, and all it ever asks for is your love. That is it. I'm so deeply honored to have been in this space with you. Incredibly honored. Really big work you've done. Really big work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have anything they need to ask or share? Thank you, Jackie. I love you. Thank you. Jackie loves everyone. Jackie's so good. Everyone here loves everyone though, right? Okay. Yes. Oh, wow. I might just sit in here by myself for a few minutes when we get done and soak in this space. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. If anyone has a question or a comment or something they want to share, please just email me if you feel to. Okay, hold on, Amanda. I feel I healed one space and another space popped up. Once healing, I feel some weakness from the next space. Okay, that's what happens. That's okay. This is good to bring in to the conversation. And I mentioned my daughter's healed many spaces. You can also put healing on pause if you have to, because life is life and it's still happening around us, whether we have children or work or school or whatever. And so sometimes we have to just allow ourselves to make space for these moments, but then we have to go back in and live the regular everyday life. But as far as some weakness for the next space, always remind yourselves that you are coming in with God, with your wholeness. That's big, because what happens is we do some of these spaces and they're really big. They're emotional because they're us, right? It's where we were, right? And in some spaces are, in a sense, just leaving. So if you can remember, when you get one done, you may need some space. My daughter chose space. She would do one and she would see another one coming in and she would say, okay, I'm good today. She'd say, this is all I'm doing today. And, you know, that's how she did it. Now, I have clients that I have had sessions with, and they've been an hour long, and we've done 4 spaces. Or I had one, we did a few, like 2 in this life, and then she went to a past life. So that's possible too with this work. We've talked about shadow work as in the now line, but you can't even heal shadows from other lives. That just take your time. Don't rush. You don't have to take it all on in one moment, one day, 1 hour, but always remember to come from your wholeness, because that is where you are allowing your full strength, your full being to be present, right? And it's big work for the physical body. So allowing some space is good as well, because the physical body still has to function through the emotions you felt, right? Did feel the one version I healed, and my now space merged into one. Okay. Okay. So you feel less pieces and parts of spaces, and you're feeling more of an alignment. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. And just keep being present. All of us, right? All of us keep being present consciously for our beings, because that's what we're doing here. We have lived, most of us, our entire lives non-present with our own being. We have been present with the outer world, with the outside relationships and jobs and travels and whatever it is we're doing, but we haven't been present with being. Does that make sense? And now you're being asked to be present with being and doing, and you're being asked, and you are asking this of yourself, to be the being in the doing. That's big, because we're used to, many of us, doing the being in meditation, in a session, right? We know how to, we're getting that down pretty good. We can go in and be in those spaces. This is preparing us to be in all spaces. So even when you're in the line at the grocery store, you're being as much as you're being in a meditation or a session. And this is the work that is being done in this higher space of vibration, Now, seriously, I'm hoping everyone can agree with this, but I don't hold attachment or judgment. I mean, I kind of do, because I'm human, but I'm trying really hard to let go. But I think we can agree, this is big, right? This was big. And this was like 15 or 20 minutes of dedicated commitment to yourself to go in, find that peace, and offer it love and healing. That's your sign that this is a new space of the human. This is a new space of the being. Does that make sense? Any heads nodding or thumbs up or anything? Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. So anybody else have anything that they want to say or ask or comment on? Anything else? I tried to keep it around 45, but because then I think if we go a little over, I still get it. I keep it under the hour. So just trying to pay attention to that, and because feedback and questions always help everyone so much, because most of the time, if not all, at least half of the people have the same question as the one somebody asks, you know? So it really does help when people when you guys say what you're feeling or thinking. So thank you. Thank you for every one of the thoughts and feelings and comments that came forward today. Really, really big ones and impactful. Come from the higher version of you. Do not put it on just this now version of us. The now version of us, the experiences feel like this. But when we go back here, now look who's above and who's below, right? The wholeness comes in, you in your wholeness, and the experience is down here instead of the opposite. So just remind yourself of that. And there's no rush. Here's the other big thing, and this is very helpful. I use this all the time. Remind yourself you're eternal and allow yourself a moment to picture an eternal line. I know this is kind of weird because it has no ends, right? It's eternal, right? Now, that's you. And on that eternal line of you, there's this dot, okay? That's this lifeline. That's this life experience. You can do this. I promise you. You have it in you. You have the power. You have the love. You have the ability. You are an eternal being who is owning their eternal sovereignness and bringing it in to this now. And humanity is meant to be enjoyed. That's another thing we've been missing. And I'm going to be bringing in a lot more to my teachings. We've been trying to get out of being human, to get off of Earth, to get out of this space, to get out of third dimension. We've been trying to get away, get away, get away. And we're asking, I think we're being asked to get in, like be fully there, you know, and we are the creator of the experience. And so we're owning that more and more. And I have so much feedback from so many of you about aligning huge spaces of your life, aligning huge spaces of your life. Yes, yes, Dave, I will make sure to send out the recording. I will. And thank you for being here, Dave. I love it. I love it. So yes, these are big spaces, but we are navigating them truly in incredible ways. You have so much power within you. Many of you know this. Many of you are remembering more and more of this. And you've written me and you've been like, hey, I put this into motion and you're not going to believe this, but blah, 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 blah happened. And I usually say, and I envisioned you writing me this because that's my part of it with working with you, is seeing it with you and holding it in the highest light with you and aligning it with you. And that's what we are. We are the creators of this now. So thank you for being conscious and present of your light. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Jenna. All right. So we're good. Nobody's got any big things they got to ask yet here at the end or share. All right. Well, I better get some emails on some inside info of what went down because you know I got to know something. Okay. Okay. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. You know that. You guys are so, so special. And I'm just so honored to walk with each and every one of you. And remember, I'm grateful you're walking with me. I'm not holding your hand. Sometimes you're holding mine, right? More than I'm holding yours. So remember that. Remember that. And I honor you and thank you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Mwah. Oh, thank you so much. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. I love our Acasma family. Thank you. Thank you. All right, beautiful ones. I will see you at the next class, hopefully, okay? All right. Mwah. Bye-bye.